Hey, chess fans, I'm bringing you a game between Kevin Spraggett from Canada and Andrei Sokolov from Russia. This was 1988. It was a part of the candidates, and Kevin has the white pieces and Andrei has the black pieces. And this move here, 35, Kevin Spraggett decides to go into an endgame. Now, in this ending, it's opposite color bishops. And I've mentioned on this channel before that opposite colored bishops have drawing tendencies. So it's easy for one side to hold on to a draw, even if you're down a pawn, like black is in this position. So why would Kevin Spraggett go into an opposite colored bishop ending, only up one pawn, against Andrei Sokolov? Well, Kevin Spraggett puts on a masterful uh, show on how to convert an opposite colored bishop ending when the when the the situation arises. Um, so um, the both players are going to be maneuvering their kings and bishops. Now the bishops are on opposite colored and the pawns are on the same colors as their respective bishops, except for this one right here. And you're going to notice that Andrei does not try to save this pawn. He probably thinks that he's probably be able to see far enough down the lines of the game to see that this pawn is going to drop and it will be two pawns anyway. But he still has a lot to fight for as a draw. You see, the king can guard this passed pawn. And like I'd mentioned before in some of my videos, a passed pawn is a pawn that the other side doesn't have a pawn to block it or to capture it. So they can be very, very valuable in endgames, having passed pawns. Black doesn't have a passed pawn and white does. So if the king is going to keep an eye on the passed pawn, and the bishop is going to keep an eye over here, making sure that this pawn doesn't fall, because this pawn here is doing a great job of stopping these two pawns, and then this pawn right here is doing a good job of preventing this pawn from advancing. So you can see it's going to be very tricky for Kevin Spraggett to get through. But let's see how he does it. So you're going to see a lot of maneuvering, and you're going to see white. It's just going to kind of march across and grab that pawn. Black knowing that he couldn't stop him anyway. And both the king and the bishop have to work together, and they have to be deciding, okay, which side of the board am I going to be covering, and being ready to pivot and change sides if necessary. But that is a kind of a key idea here for Kevin. Doing a lot of maneuvering and waiting until the time is right for him to kind of hatch a plan. And you notice that he did move his pawn up here. This pawn is not really necessary for the plan. Okay, so you'll see what the plan is. The plan is getting Andrei to trade this pawn for this pawn. So you can see Kevin has pushed this pawn, this a5 pawn, and Andrei probably doesn't want the pawn to get to here, because then it's just getting too close to the promotion to becoming a queen. So if the bishop takes here, then the king can take this pawn. Now Andrei sees all this, and he tries to maybe complicate things a little bit by throwing in a move that is really not a strong move according to the computer. Now Kevin doesn't fall for any tricks, or it doesn't make him nervous. Thankfully, he takes it. So it's another free pawn. So now Kevin Spraggett is up 3 pawns in the game. Now Sokolov takes that pawn, and so that one is a trade, because now white gets this. And I think the reason why Kevin Spraggett wanted to give up this pawn over here for this pawn over here is because now white has a passed pawn on the other side of the board. But look where the king is. The king was keeping its eye on this passed pawn. So that little switch, and Kevin Spraggett now has a passed pawn on this side of the board. And watch what he's going to do with his king? He's going to put his king here, and that king is going to block off the black king from coming in and trying. I mean, the black king would love to be right here right now, but Kevin Spraggett's not going to let that happen. And you'll see that what happens in these endings is the black side has to give up the bishop for the pawn, and now they resigned a little. Andrei resigned a little before that, but what I wanted to do is go through for if you're ever in a game like this yourself and you're up, how do you finish this off? Well, the idea is don't give anything away, and you want to bring your king over and support one of your pawns into turning into a queen. So let's give an example here of how this, and of course the bishop is wonderfully protecting this pawn, and then this pawn here is right ready for, if this pawn advances, to just capture it. So black really doesn't have any options left, and white just patiently has to start to get his pawn across and get a queen, and then slowly but surely being well, you don't have to be too careful not to stalemate yet, because black will always have this extra move. But anyway, here you go. You've got the checkmate. Now this didn't happen in the game. The Andrei he resigned a little before that because they were able to see this far down the line. But it's a really great example of how a real grandmaster is able to convert the opposite colored bishop endgames, which can be really, really tricky to win. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any other ideas for games to cover from famous Canadian games, please leave a comment. All right, thanks for watching.